Hello and welcome to my video all about how to knit no-turn bobbles. About 4 years ago I did a video about how to knit bobbles, and in that technique you needed to turn your work multiple times. It can get a bit annoying having to swap the needles between your hands all the time, and in this technique you don't have to do that at all. As you can see, I've already done a few rows of stockinette stitch and I've just finished a purl row. I'm going to make all of these bobbles on the right side row, which is the knit row, so I'm now just going to knit up to where I want to place the first bobble. Okay, so to make a bobble you first need to do most of the steps of a knit stitch. So you do a knit stitch all the way up to where you would just push that stitch off the needle. Instead you keep the stitch on the needle and do a yarn over. So take the working yarn between the needles to the front and then over the right hand needle. And then you repeat that again. So you do most of the steps of a knit stitch by knitting into the same stitch again, but not slipping the stitch off the left hand needle. Then do a yarn over by bringing the working yarn between the needles to the front and then over the right hand needle. And then knit once more into the same stitch again, except this time you do slip the stitch off the end of the needle. You now have 5 stitches on the right hand needle that you've made from one stitch. Make sure they're all lined up correctly and then slip them purlwise back onto the left hand needle. So take the left hand needle into the front of each of those stitches and slip them across. You then just need to knit these 5 stitches. So that's just 5 normal knit stitches. And then you repeat those steps again. So slip those 5 stitches purlwise back onto the left hand needle and then knit those 5 stitches. And finally you use your left hand needle to pick up the second stitch down on the right hand needle, take it over the stitch above and drop it off the end of the needle. Then repeat this 3 more times. So that's 4 stitches in total taken over that last stitch. And that's how you make one bobble. I'm now going to do a few more knit stitches and show you that again. Okay, so once again you need to start by doing most of the steps of a normal knit stitch. So that's all the steps up until the point where you would slip the stitch off the needle. Then you do a yarn over by bringing the working yarn between the needles to the front and then over the right hand needle. Then you knit into that same stitch again, but keep the stitch on the needle. And then do another yarn over. Then you knit into the same stitch once again, but this time you do slip the stitch off the needle. You then slip those 5 stitches purlwise back onto the left hand needle. And then knit those 5 stitches. Then slip them back again. And knit them once more. And then finally pass 4 stitches over the top stitch on the right hand needle. So use your left hand needle to pick up the second stitch down, take it over the stitch above and off the end of the needle. And then repeat that 3 more times to finish the bobble. And that's it, that's how you make no-turn bobbles. If you find that your bubbles have gone to the back of your work, you just need to push them through to the front of the knitting. And here you can see what those bubbles look like at the end. I really hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.